And I told her, I don't care if he is her husband. Right now.
It's time to rise from the grave, pour yourself a cup, and enjoy the Coffee Crypt.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the newest episode of the Coffee Crypt.
Good morning.
I have a special coffee cup.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I need more Scream-themed things.
This was one of my Valentine's Day gifts. It's so freaking cute, though. Sorry.
Bonus points. Good choice of gift.
Yes, agreed. So I, of course, will be drinking my coffee out of this.
Mm-hmm. I'm just drinking out of my husband's
NASA
cup. Rocket fuel.
I love it.
So cheesy. We've completely leaned into dad jokes.
As you should. I think that's a rite of passage at this point. So
my God. Well, we have a running gag now in the family between us and my brother-in-law and his wife, where we buy each other ridiculous mugs, and they usually come from Cracker Barrel. So my favorite one so far, my brother-in-law gave us for Christmas this year a mug, and it says, "All Mama wants is a silent night." It's great. And my husband's favorite is, "My favorite people call me Grandma." So that's kind of the thing. It's like it's just like things that just don't relate to us. Things that are just
it's like, this is your Christmas present.
Right. It's just like
I love that.
Things that have nothing to do with us. It's just like, how ridiculous can we get, you know?
That is so funny. I love it.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So you got to do, your coffee break without me last time.
Yeah, missed you.
I know you still kept me there in spirit. So
absolutely. I had all the trailers and stuff that you wanted me to talk about.
You were like, an angel said.
And I mentioned. It's so funny how much I was like, an angel would like this, or angel. Yeah, it's like, so it's really like you were literally there.
I love it. That's no, I was laughing when I watched it. I went back and watched it. I was like, it's so much. It's like an angel said, or angel would be upset if I didn't talk about this, or like whatever it was that you said. It was really
right. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, and that's something that I hope, people like moving forward. Like if, 1 week you can, or I can, it's like, we're going to do these kind of little mini updates.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. And they're shorter, so like people can just kind of watch it, and unlike our normal conversation, which for the record is like the final version. It's not like our entire conversation. It doesn't include like conversations that we have leading up to the episode.
Right.
It doesn't seem like an hour is condensed, but I assure you viewers that it is.
I mean, if we were able to just record an entire conversation, I mean, it could be like 2+ hours. Easy.
Well, we talked about that when you came on and did the live with me. I was like, well, and if we run out of things to talk about, we can just wind down. And you were like, I really don't think that's going to be a problem.
No. Gift of gab.
Me too.
Every report card I had growing up was, "Great child, talks too much in class." That was every teacher's comment.
I never got detention until middle school, and that was the reason, was always talking to my friends. And we get on so well too. Like, it's just such an easy, conversation. So, which is why we're doing this to begin with, right?
Listen, if I wasn't having fun, I wouldn't be here. So.
Well, thanks, I think. I'll take it.
No, it sounded like an insult, but it really wasn't. I don't know why I said it that way. It's just been a long day.
It's been a long week.
With lots to talk about.
We do. Yeah, so we don't have as many trailers, so we're going to cover 2 trailers. And I'm going to start us off with one that I randomly found called Project Wolf Hunting. So this is another film that's a foreign film. So it technically released in other countries in 2022, and it did the film festival circuit and has been in a couple of of those. So there's going to be if you go to the IMDb page, there's a ton of releases because it's been played in multiple places, but its official US release without an official date, but it's going to be in May of this year at some point. And it just says, you know, that it's probably going to go straight to a streaming service, maybe Shudder. We'll see. But yeah, so this is, I went into this thinking werewolf. And instead what we got was a you know, a genetically, physically modified human being that's like a soldier, essentially. Like, I want to say kind of cyborgy, but it looks like a really violent action, kind of almost sci-fi kind of film.
Right.
The trailer looked maddening. Like, there's so much going on, and you think, you know, it's almost reminds me like a little bit of like Con Air. They've got these people and they're like handcuffs and they're like the bad guys, and then they get out and they start moving about and doing things, and then they release Project Wolf Hunting. And it just kind of goes like crazy from there. So this is something that I probably will love. It looks right up my alley, checks a bunch of boxes for me. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, you know, I was trying to think of like things that it was giving me vibes of, but I just couldn't pick anything because I just feel like it does have a unique feeling to it. Like, I like the kind of claustrophobia of it being on the ship.
Yeah, that's,
you know, I think that was really cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, like, you know, as they were like leading these prisoners on, I was like, almost like, are they going to give them a mission? I almost kind of felt like a little Suicide Squad-y.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously, as we see in the trailer, you know, it changes and it's, you know, got a lot going on. And it just looks really fun. I need to see more foreign horror. And what you were saying about it being on Shudder, I was like, man, it would be great if we could start getting some of these in theaters.
Yeah, because, well, and part of I think one of the reasons, one of probably many, but I think one of the reasons we probably don't is because by the time they come to the US, they've already been out for a year. And so it's really just who's willing to take on this film and release it in the US so that people can see it. But I just had this conversation with somebody at work the other day, actually, that foreign horror is like, you know, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, French horror. Like, they push the boundaries of horror way different, way more than we do in the States. And I think it makes it like, this looked, because you know what this kind of reminded me of? Like, you've seen VHS 94. So it reminded me of The Scientist one a little bit.
Oh, that was
which is like my favorite. Yeah, that was my favorite from VHS 94. So that's the kind of energy I got, was like, you know, they're making this person into something else and using it for bad. And that's kind of what it reminded me of.
That was a good comparison. I don't know why I didn't think of that as I was watching it, because that really was spot on, like tonally, you know?
Yeah, no. And I think it's just maybe more like, you know, obviously like it's a feature length instead of like a shortened horror anthology. So we'll get a lot more story, a lot more characters and stuff, which I'm fine with. I think this looks good, but I just haven't seen many foreign horror films that have let me down. I just have not seen that many. And I don't know, like, I really liked, this looks cool. I think this is like right at my alley. I'm probably totally going to watch it when it comes out in May.
Yeah. And when I think about like foreign horror that just hits different too, not even just like the boundary pushing, but like, I think in the US we're so used to, especially, I mean, this is really kind of applies more to like supernatural horror, but like, I love seeing different cultures' takes on hauntings and things like that.
100%, yes.
Because we're just so used to, like, I mean, I'll be honest, like the United States, we don't really have a lot of mythology. You know what I mean?
It's just people died, something horrible. Right. Somebody did a Ouija board, so now we're all screwed. Like,
I mean, yeah, most of our hauntings are what? It's based in, you know, Judeo-Christian mythology.
Yes.
Right. I mean, that's most of our stuff. Right. So it's just kind of cool to see different viewpoints and different ideas of the afterlife and curses and demons and all this stuff. Right. So I appreciate that. And we definitely need more.
Yeah. That was one of the reasons I loved Incantation so much, which made my top list for 2022. I don't know if you saw that one, the found footage one.
No, it's one of those things that's like, it's on my queue, and I'm like,
I know, right? Which is a forever thing as a horror fan, especially lately. That one of the strongest things about that film is its lore. Okay. It's so good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I definitely do need to watch it. I've been on now I'm on my Scream rewatch, which we'll get to.
Oh, right, sure.
In a couple of stories for now, but yes, it's on there.
Yeah. What's our next trailer?
So up next we have HBO Max's Love and Death, starring Elizabeth Olsen. It's Jesse Plemons. Yep. And and Lily Rabe, who
oh man,
I love her so much. She's one of my favorite actresses like absolutely like ever. She's, you know, well, she's in my favorite seasons of American Horror Story. I stopped watching that a long time ago, but like her sister Mary Eunice is like my favorite character in
God, I know. She's amazing. I agree.
Yep. But yeah, so it is. I do not have the synopsis for that. Uno momento.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I think. Well, I think, and I just started recently hearing about this one too, which I'm kind of surprised about. I feel like we should have heard about this sooner, but some of the best stuff comes out that way, so works out. I guess.
So it's kind of like a thriller drama. It's based on a true story. Two church-going couples enjoy small-town family life in Texas until somebody picks up an axe. That's the log line. But in the trailer, we can see an affair gets started and things take a deadly turn. And I love, there was a lot of like comparison shots going around of Elizabeth Olsen with like the blood on her face, because it was very reminiscent of her in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, because that's when she kind of does her Dark Willow storyline.
Yeah, right.
And she gets like it's not really blood. They do this kind of cool thing to get away with using a lot of it. It's more like robot mechanical oil.
Oh, I gotcha.
It's like mechanical oil, but it looks like blood, and they use it. And it kind of gives her this like menacing blood soaked look. But in this, they use real blood. What did you think about the trailer in general?
So it came up on like a feed, like a Facebook feed or something, and I was like, oh, okay, like, and I actually really do like dramas. I don't typically have a lot of time for them, but I do like them, and I love her, and I love what's his name, the other
Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, I like him. And so I was like, oh, let me see what this drama is about, because that's what I thought. I thought it was just gonna be like a drama. And so I like clicked on it to make it bigger, and I'm like watching it, and I'm like, okay, so this is not at all what I expected. No, I think it looks intriguing. It kind of it's like, let's give them something to talk about with like a slasher vibe. That's kind of like what it reminded me of. And I'm interested to see where it goes. You know, there's that one moment where she looks at him and she goes, I just don't want anybody to get hurt. And you're immediately like, like, at least me, as the first time seeing the trailer, I was like, it's just like, well,
but somebody does, apparently.
Yeah. And so no, it looks like it's gonna be, because it's a series, right?
Yeah, I think it's by the same people that did The Undoing with Nicole Kidman. Did you see that one on HBO?
No, I'm familiar, but I have not seen it. But I think it's series. This is a limited series, though, right? It's not one of those things that's going to just keep going.
Yeah, no, it's limited series, which HBO really has just kind of been embracing. Well, White Lotus was a continuation, but very much, if you look at the seasons as a whole, they're very kind of limited feeling.
Which is good. I mean, honestly, that's fine. That's better than getting us invested in something you're not going to be able to give us more of.
I think this is the better approach for series in the long run, right? Especially because, like, I mean, things have been getting canceled left and right on Netflix or this streaming service or that streaming service. And, you know, and I always say, I'm an advocate. There should always be a finale clause. If you think you're going to get canceled, you got to give
you got to tell us
to have a finale. Just have a clause, like give enough notice. I mean, I know
I support that decision.
It's probably more complicated than that. I'm not business minded, but I feel like, you know, there's got to be a way to have that where like some notice where that last episode can be done.
Yeah, you know? I agree. No, I totally agree.
Yeah, I was lucky. So there was a show, not to get too far off point, but that's kind of what we do here. There was a show called Point Pleasant on Fox like years ago. It was in like 2005, 2006. And it was a one season. It was like a soapy supernatural drama. About the Antichrist. And it was like this woman, she's on a ship, she goes overboard, she washes ashore, no memories of who she is, and she ends up staying with this family, and then like Antichrist stuff starts to happen.
And what was this called again?
It was called Point Pleasant.
Pleasant.
It was pulled after, I want to say like 7 or so episodes, but like very fortunately, this is how you do it right. They gave them enough notice to film a finale. So what they did was, even though it wasn't airing after episode 7, they took the all 13 episodes with the reworked finale, put it on DVD, and released it.
Oh, I love that.
So like I loved it. I was so upset that I got canceled because especially at that time I was getting more into soapy dramas and all that, like
Yeah.
Buffy and everything, you know. So
Yeah.
so like I was like, oh man, so I actually do have this cool mini series, you know. So I was like, they just,
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the model, you know. And it's like, it was such a
Oh, I
random
love
show to
that.
do that for, but
Yeah.
like, man, I appreciate it because I really enjoyed the
Mm.
hell out of that. It was I'm trying to think of like big people, but Sam Page, I think his name is. If you saw him, you might recognize him.
Mm.
Dina Meyer, she's in a bunch of other things that unfortunately get canceled, but she's pretty good. But yeah, there's a few recognizable people on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard of that one. Yeah, I agree. I think there should be. I also have said that if your show gets canceled when you're getting ready to do a second season and you find out that you can't, then you should at least release the rest of the information to wrap up the cliffhangers from the finale. Because one of the shows that I love that Netflix canceled was called The Order. It's like a witchy werewolf. Oh my god, so good. But the season 3, I think it was, ended with such giant cliffhangers, and then it got canceled, and I was like, oh, that is so unfair. They should have they should release the rest of the information just to tell me what happens to the main people that the bad stuff happened to that we didn't get any resolution, because that drives me crazy.
They kind of did something just like that with Lovecraft Country, which I am baffled that HBO canceled because it got them so many like nominations for the Emmys.
Yeah,
like
it's been on my list for a long time, but I haven't gotten to it.
It does kind of work as a limited series. Like if you don't, it has a cliffhanger, but more in like a spiritual cliffhanger. Like it's almost like okay, and then what happened, but not in like a way where you're wondering what happened to the character,
and then you're mad because like you don't know the answers.
It's more like, what are the repercussions of this world that they're building? So, but the creator, Misha, I forget. Oh my god, I'm forgetting her last name. I think her first name was Misha. The creator was like, "This is what we were thinking of doing for season 2," and it sounded so freaking cool. And I'm like so upset that we didn't get to see it. But it was like, yeah, the world changed. The 1950s America started to embrace like the supernatural stuff, and they were like cutting the country into different like supernatural territory. It just sounded really cool.
It does sound really cool.
And I was like, oh man, or do a graphic novel. I think that's also a cool way to continue a
story. Still be able to do the story.
Yeah, because I
was going to say, and if you do that, then nobody can cancel you.
That's it. Like because I loved. Do you ever read the Buffy continuations?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So like I have, you probably can't see them, but back there I have like season 8 through whatever, and then some of they did a reboot where they kind of went back and reworked they kind of just retold the high school story, but different. Yeah.
I don't think I read those, but the continuations, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They had some good stuff.
Yeah. So, more themed things. Oops, wrong way.
The next one.
Yeah. So we got some new Scream character posters. And I have such mixed emotions about these.
I'm intrigued because I kind of like them, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I think they look really dumb.
Fair.
I'm sorry. Like, I think, I get it. I get what they're doing. I love character posters. Mm-hmm. I love that. I also love when we get like multiple posters of the film, and like I love stuff like that. These are so dumb. Like I thought, so the only two that I thought looked really good was Tara's and Gail's.
Okay. Yeah.
Those are the only two that I thought got my attention, made me want to look. The others, I was like, I don't even know who that is. Like I did, when I went back up, I did know who they were, but it's just like, so I didn't, I wasn't super impressed with these. I think there's so much hype around Scream right now for very obvious reasons, but also like, I don't think that it was really like necessary to do these right now. I mean, we're less than a month away.
Yeah.
From the
why hold on to them so
I know
late?
This would have been something I would have loved to have seen before the final trailer. This would have been like promote the characters and the faces and what we're going to be seeing when we see the trailer, like that kind of thing. But I felt like this was delivered a little late, and they were pretty underwhelming to me. Like I just wasn't wowed.
Scream 6 promotion has been kind of like lackluster compared to the Scream 5 promotion.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think, of course, there was the hype of Scream coming back last year after like 10 years, but also, like, I like obsessively followed the TikTok that they had for it. Did you watch any of those? They had like a brand new character in living in Woodsboro, and you got to watch her TikToks from her perspective in Woodsboro.
That's pretty cool.
It was really fun. And I don't think a lot of people caught on to it because I was noticing like the views weren't very high. So maybe they were like, we're doing too much and no one's really like watching. But like,
yeah, I had no idea. So this was before the movie came out.
This was like, November, December, like leading into the like premiere.
So 2021.
Right. So the character, I forgot her name, Sarah. It was like Too Brash Sarah was like her account name. And Sarah would release like a TikTok every so often. And she had a friend that would like guest star in her TikToks, and then like they would be like, oh, the murders are happening again in Woodsboro, and like they would talk about the suspects, like these are the main characters. That's really
cool. No, that was before I was on TikTok.
Yeah, and then like it kind of tied, and then the very final TikTok that they released tied directly into the movie. Yeah, it was really, it was like, I'm
surprised that wasn't like all over the place.
Yeah, because the very last TikTok ended at the party.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really kind of a cool way to be like, oh shit, right?
But this was actually through like the production company. Like this was
an production company, right? So they created this character to be kind of the promotional character talking about Sam, Tara, Mindy, Chad, all them. And she was just like a student at Woodsboro High. Like it was interesting.
That's a really cool marketing idea, though. I'm really surprised that didn't take off more.
Yeah, no, I was shocked. Just because I feel like, I don't know. I guess maybe they didn't like, what they should have done was do the TikTok, but I didn't really see them posting the videos also on Twitter. They should have been like cross-platform with it. So maybe that's why it didn't do so well. Agree.
Yeah. So what did you think of these posters?
I like the idea of them because I kind of I like the parallel between this one and the posters from 5 with the mask. So I like that Scream 5 was with the mask, Scream 6 is with the knife. And I have a feeling they'll probably, if there's a 7, they'll probably have them hold something else. I don't know.
Maybe,
but I like the parallel. But they aren't very inspired. You know, like they're not like, wow. You know.
Yeah, they're all have on black gloves. Like, oh, they could be the killer. Like, meh.
Yeah. I like the poster that they released with the subway lines. Everything leading back to Sam kind of thing, and it was like
that was a good one.
That I really liked.
The main one with everybody on it is like too much.
That's but that's kind of like what all the studios do.
Well, and the Scream movie or the Scream posters for the Scream franchise have always had the characters on the front. Like I get it, but like when you have like 30 people on the front, like it just looks chaotic. It doesn't look engaging or intriguing to me. So
the
originals were fine, but I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, no, the original 4 Scream posters are the best because it's like, you know, they picked like 4 or 5 main characters.
And that's who made the cover.
But even then, they also kind of tricked you, right? Because the first poster had Drew Barrymore and no one knew what it was going to happen.
That was intentional,
Right? And then the second one has Jada on it. I don't think Sarah's on. Sarah Michelle Gellar, I don't think she's on the poster. I think it's the trio, Jada, and... Is it Liev Schreiber maybe on the cover?
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
But I think like when it's a few that works, you're like, okay. Like plus if they had stuck with that would give me like total 90s slasher vibes. And I'd be like, oh my God, I love it. Because they did that with the knockoff I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing, you know.
Right. Yeah, no, I like there's this like so many companies either if they put out like DVD, like physical media and stuff like that. It always bothers me when things don't match. You know, so when
I know what you mean. Uniformity.
Right, exactly. Like,
part of branding.
Everything look, you know.
That's that's totally true. So yeah, I mean, I thought they were pretty underwhelming. They weren't like exciting. Now, what I did get excited about that I wish this had been was the release of the image of the faded mask. Like that got me excited. But these posters didn't add anything that wasn't already there.
No, I mean, some of the pictures that they've released, stills from the movie were cool. The one with like Ghostface like charging.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the projector in the back, like that looks like the stuff that they're showing from the movie looks cool. Yeah, but the promotional stuff not so much.
Yeah, and this is and so as of like I guess right now they're talking about Scream 6 having the biggest opening weekend of the franchise. So
yeah,
opening weekend, Scream 5 was at 30, and then so as of right now, Scream 6 is looking at, I think, projecting to be at like 37 million.
Which is great.
Yeah. Honestly, though, the way the article about this read, you would almost think it was going to be way more than that, but that's only 7 million more than it got for 5. But I think that I'm very curious what the final number will be like overall, because like I wonder, like, is this going to be something that like really like the numbers are because I feel like more people, at least this is just what I have seen in as far as like my personal conversations with people in the community, people to me seem like they're more excited about 6 than they were 5.
Yeah, because I think there's just so much like I mean, they're all mysteries, but like there's just so much more. Like there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of like, where the heck can they go? And it's certainly the trailer with like all of the tie-ins to the past sequels. Like it just feels like a different movie. And
I think you're dead on. I think this is very much a question of like what is the possibilities here? Like, is it going to be? So I'm really curious to see what that number is going to look like once like we actually get to it. We're not that far. We've only got a few more weeks.
Just under 3. Is the art? Was the article? Because that's all just based on pre-sales.
Yes.
Right. So like that, not to even like count in like people who were like waiting to buy their tickets the week of. Right. These are just people who were like sold, like they were going to be there no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's kind of like this is the minimum kind of like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. It's cool to see. Obviously, like, you know, you get nervous with sequels just because, you know, because you want to see the trajectory. You want to see it go up, and you don't want to kind of feel like fatigued by it. But I think just because there's been so many years between 4 and now this new set, it kind of gave a new generation a chance to kind of catch up and get excited for it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I know there are plenty of people that will disagree with this, but I think as far as franchises that we keep revisiting, I think this one came back a lot stronger than a lot of some of the other ones have been able to do.
I think that's fair.
I mean, I think like obviously like when you're talking about like like Halloween and when they revisited recently the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like these had the opportunity to still be really great continuations or additions or whatever. But they just were very lackluster to me as far as add-ons to the franchise compared to Scream. Like, and Scream is like, and if you're not new here, you know that because Scream is iconic for me. Like, and I'm not even a really big slasher person, but I love the Scream franchise. I have absolutely nothing but love for it. And so, so I'm like, I just feel like this has done a better job of bringing back the enthusiasm, kind of keeping to its roots while adding new things. Like I just think it's done a better job.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that is thanks to Radio Silence. I think they're a great team. They were the right people for it. And it's also, I think it's in the DNA of the franchise too. Like, I'm sure, if it was a different team, I'm sure it could have been easy to mess it up. But I just think being that it's irreverent, it's self-referential, it can have a laugh at the genre while still being a successful horror movie in its own right. Like it's very, Yeah, I mean, same thing with Scream 4, right? That was a return after 10 years. I feel like all these, like they kind of nail the returns, you know, like movie after movie.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah.
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 But yeah, you know, and so speaking of though, you know, the promotion kind of, you know, speeding up, you know, we got a preview of the Demi Lovato song. Right? Did you get to take a listen to it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What'd you think?
Well, I mean,
well, the preview of it.
Right. I mean, well, first of all, I'm a fan in general.
I do like that. You know, I can't say I've heard every album, but like of the
in general, though, there's a lot of music. I think we're back to she. So I think I think I read that she changed her pronouns back to she. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. I wasn't up on the news. I'm
fairly confident. I'm a big Demi Lovato fan. Like I really have liked her music. I've liked some of the things that she's had to say. Like some of her songs have really resonated with me at different times in my life or whatever. So, I mean, I think this is fine. I think that I don't know that I'm going to go into a Scream movie really thinking about the music per se. You know what I mean? Like it's not
fair.
It's like you go into Halloween and you're like, the music better be good. You know what I mean? But going into a Scream film, my focus is going to be elsewhere. But I think this is like a fun, cool, newer like thing to do with the music. I mean, curious to hear full release and
yeah.
And if it's like plays, because I'm assuming, I mean, obviously I don't know. Like it may be something we get to hear during the film, or it may be a post-credit, you know, music piece or something. But yeah. What did you think?
I dug the sound. It was like probably like what was like 30 seconds of the song, maybe not even.
Yeah.
Well, first I will say I love how they released it as a phone call to Ghostface.
That was cute.
I love that, and it's
very
like
clever.
Really like chilling about hearing Ghostface's voice coming from your phone. So
I know
that was trippy in its own right. But I like the snippet of the song that we got. It's interesting that you're not so like you don't like focus on the music for Scream, because I feel like the music in Scream is very distinct. Like I really enjoy like the original like Marco Beltrami scores are like really cool. That kind of like the like metallic kind of thing, and it's got like that little bell. Like there's like a sound in the original trilogy, and actually maybe even in 4 I think they had it, but they didn't have it in 5, which I kind of like. I was kind of missing that little bit of that grungy background music, but the end credit songs are always interesting. You know, now that I'm rewatching it, I watched 1 and 2. I watched 2 last night, 1 the night before, and those end credit songs are always fun. Like it was "Whisper to a Scream" is the first one. The second one ends with "I Think I Love You," the grunge cover of that one. I forgot what the third one ends with. I can hear the fourth one in my head. I don't know the title of it, but then the fifth one, "The Wallows," I enjoy that song a lot. I actually downloaded their song. So like music, I didn't focus on it so much in the beginning of watching Scream, like getting into it, but now I'm a little more like focused on it. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm curious where it's going to fit in the movie.
You know what I'm sitting here thinking about? I just told you that I don't pay attention to the music, and that's a total lie, because you know what song is in all of them except for?
Oh,
Red Right Hand.
Yeah. That's such a good song.
It's such a good song. It's also the intro to Peaky Blinders, which, oh my God.
That's another one on my...
oh my God. Such a great show. I won't even go down that rabbit hole. But I remember going into 5 being like, oh, I wonder if they're going to bring that song back, because it's in the first 3. But it wasn't in 4. And so when we get Kyle... Scream 5 has been out for over a year, so I don't want to catch no crap about spoilers. When Kyle Gallagher, Kyle's character gets killed, we hear the music, and I like literal chills. I was like, oh. So I'm lying. I'm totally lying to you, because I wasn't even thinking about Red Right Hand. But I guess that song specific, as opposed to music throughout the Scream films.
Because it's like, other than score, like instrumental score, that's the only song that really
is repetitive.
You know, like that really is the Scream theme, is that song.
And when I hear it, I'm like, oh, I'm back where I was the first, you know what I mean? Like, I love that so much. So hopefully that one's in 6.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like they're not gonna omit that this time. I think they're
not coming back to it in 5. That would be strange.
No, I think they'll be in 6. I think I want to see if they do something clever with it, because like you were saying with Kyle's scene, I love that it played from his car radio.
I know.
Like that was just like a cool way to like make it like in the world and
without it being an over.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like when I saw Scream 5 in theaters, there were so many parts that I was literally wiggling in my seat. And that was one of them. I was like, oh my God, this song. Like I was like so pumped. Yeah. I
had, I mean, because like that's why I dragged my husband to see all the, I told you, he doesn't like horror movies, but he'll see Scream.
Yeah.
He likes it. He doesn't love it, but he enjoys them. And so I had chills when not music related, but like just speaking to what you were saying, like when Billy Loomis showed, and I was like, you know, and then my husband like looked, he was like, I got it. You know, he kind of gave me one of these like, okay, I see you. I see you fangirling over there. And so, yeah, but I can relate to those chills for sure.
Yeah. No, so I mean, yeah, we'll see what the full one sounds like, and hopefully we'll get Red Right Hand.
Yeah. And so I don't know so we didn't have this in the script for the show, but I kind of was like, do we talk about, and so no spoilers for 6, but do we talk about the existence that they are out there?
So I was talking to my friend Scott from the Year End podcast, because he did a post about the leaking of the stuff, right? And I messaged him and I was telling him, I was basically venting about like how mad I am about the situation, about people posting, about things being really like out. And his response was, it was intentional.
I wonder, right? Because that's what happened with Scream 2.
And 4.
Oh, wait. Oh, and 4 too?
Yeah, there was some stuff with 4 that got out too. But I don't think any of it has been at this level.
Right. No. Well, with 2, that was like early days internet. So like that was just like a copy, like a photocopy of the script got out.
Right.
And that was like, so it wasn't like a literal scene. No one was there with like their iPhone.
Yeah. So, but he thinks all of that is all intentional, even back at 2.
That would be so interesting, because that's meta on a completely different level.
I don't know that I can wrap my head around it, to be honest with you, because I don't understand what the gain would be. What's the gain? What do you think the gain is?
So, okay. So if it is, so let's play in the space that it's intentional.
Okay.
So what are they referencing? So I'm thinking of like the theme of Scream 5 being fandom. Mm-hmm. Right. So actually, this actually goes in line with my theory that it's about misinformation.
Okay.
So if they release a fake spoiler, that is literal internet misinformation about the movie.
And we won't know yet until it's fake, until we go see it.
We won't know it's fake until we go see the movie. And maybe it comments on misinformation, right? Because this idea of like internet frenzy, people spreading lies, people actually acting out.
I like that. That would be good. Well, and because I think like I totally see what you're saying about this theme of misinformation, just based off what we've seen from about the film, when the marketing, with the trailers, like it does seem to, I can totally see where that would work with this one.
Right. Because this isn't a spoiler, because I literally do not know the plot details other than in the trailer, but with Sam talking about like her inner darkness and trying to like hide, like I could see it being like people like being suspicious of her, being like, oh, you are Billy's daughter. Okay. Like, like you were probably involved in 5, right? And people kind of like pointing the finger at her
immediately.
And like that kind of being it, like her trying to hide away from like the rumors, but people still kind of like harping on that. Like I feel like that's probably where it's going.
I can see that. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I also think it's interesting, and I don't know, I don't remember if we talked about this the last time we talked about Scream, which has been like every episode. But
literally.
Samara Weaving, not Armstrong. That's the girl from Stay Alive. I love her. That's not who I'm talking about though. Samara Weaving, right?
Yeah.
That was difficult. I don't know what was so hard about that. Anyway, so she's in this, right?
Right.
But like also, so she got a character poster.
Mm-hmm.
But the only clip we see of her so far is on the phone.
Like in an alley. Yeah.
In an alley. And to kind of I say all of that to kind of tack on to this idea of misinformation. That would lead me to believe that she's the first kill, which I didn't think about until Scott, who's very interested and vested into the Scream stuff. He knows a lot. He was like, well, it makes me think she's the first kill. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't think about that. So now I'm wondering, but if that's intentional.
Right. Well, they know that we know what they did about Drew Barrymore.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if it's intentional to make you think that.
Mm-hmm.
We are like Scream fans right now, or even just people excited about this movie. We are literally that gif of Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia with like his charts, and we're all like trying to like figure it all out. And I hope you know what I hope? My hope is that we're all wrong.
I absolutely, I couldn't be more like in agreement with you. Like,
yeah.
I want to be surprised. I want to be like shocked and like, yeah. I think that's what I mean with a good murder mystery. I mean, that's what you want.
Well, it's supposed to be that. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Like, as a Scream fan, it's hard for me to get out of that mode because I'm watching a show with my husband called Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne on Peacock. Yeah. Really, really good. It's like a Murder, She Wrote kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks really good. I haven't watched it, and I love her. She's fantastic.
My one and only gripe about the show, and it's not even like the show's fault. Like, it's not even like a bad thing. It's that who kills somebody at the beginning of the episode. Like the first,
so it's not like a surprise.
It's not a mystery. It's more of like, so the murder happens within the first 10, 15 minutes of the episode. And it's you get one snapshot of the scene of that story. And then it rewinds and it shows you how Natasha Lyonne is involved. And then it kind of follows through and her kind of cracking the case. But the thing is like, you kind of know the answer. There's a few details that she figures out along the way, but like, so I'm like, it's getting my like, it like just like messes with my Scream like murder mystery kind of brain, where I'm like, I wish it was a mystery, but it's not. But it's still it's like such a good show, but it's just a different format.
I understand. Yeah. That makes sense.
But but just to your point, like, it's like it's cool to kind of like,
pick it apart, try to figure it all out.
And then
we're gonna go out and be like, oh my God, like, it's because your ticket is for Thursday.
Yeah, March 9th.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to see it until during the day Saturday, the 11th.
I'll just send you like emojis.
Yeah, please. Well, and when I'm done, I will text you immediately.
yeah. I'll just like, because it's going to be that night. I think we're seeing it. I already have it like on my Apple Wallet ready to go, like my ticket. Yeah, 7:30, March 9th. Yeah. So I'll be by 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'll be like freaking out. I'll be on cloud 9.
Yeah, Melinda and I are going to go see it that Saturday during the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And then I'm going to try to see it again because I think Scream 5 I saw like 5 or 6 times in theaters.
I didn't. I only went and saw it once.
Well, this was pre-child. I didn't have a
I was just going to say, but then like a few months after that, I like my whole life changed. So like I didn't really have.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited about. I'm like.
Absolutely. All right.
We should call this the Scream Hour.
I know. We really
I guess it's hard not to go down rabbit holes with Scream though, because there really is just so much going on with it.
It is. I mean, literally, I think 3 stories were Scream related. Like we're like, yeah, let's just put it all together.
I don't know. How
yeah. No, I don't think it was that bad. I think it's only been like 15 minutes. I'm like trying to look at the time here. I don't know.
Well, let's go into the next thing, which is also going to be an extreme rabbit hole for Angel, and I'm going to do my very best to control myself. And that, of course, is the announcement that Return to Silent Hill is getting ready to start filming.
Yes.
So, you're new here. I'm a massive Silent Hill fan. I big fan of video games. I have read Silent Hill fan fiction. I have written fan fiction for Silent Hill. Like I love
send me a PDF of that.
Yeah. Oh my God. You wouldn't even be able to look at me the same. It goes in all like, One of the first TikToks I ever did that I swear should have been the one that made me go viral was, do you remember the TikTok challenge, or I mean, not challenge, the TikTok sound that was like, don't flirt with him. And then this girl would like,
I saw that one. Yes.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, what I do is I say, I'm not going to flirt. And then it cuts and it shows the scene from the 2006 Silent Hill movie of Pyramid skinning someone alive and throwing it at the door. And then it's me going the rest of it. So anyway, I think I'm very funny. That should have been the one that went viral, but it is what it is. I also did a Ghostface one, but that one was my favorite. Yeah, I'm a really big fan of Silent Hill. I love the 2006 movie. I was not a fan of the 3D one because it was completely built up for 3D. So when you watch it as non-3D, it looks crappy.
Oh.
And I really like what they did with the story stuff either. So my favorite game is Silent Hill 2, which is where this is going to go in the direction of. I think we're going to get our James story, and our James and Mary story rather. And I'm really excited about this. I think, I watched they call it like a teaser, but it's really more like an interview. The little clips that was in that article that you posted, where they're talking about making it, the goals, the love and respect, wanting to take something as traditional and classic as it is, but making it more modern. They talk about the monsters, and you can hear the love, right? Like when you listen to these men talk about creating the next Silent Hill film, I trust them. Like I just do. Like, and I'm so ready to see. So, when I was one of those people that quite literally felt like I had my heart broken when we got the PT teaser trailer. I mean, playable, the playable trailer, the PT thing that you could do on PlayStation. And then Silent Hills got canceled, the game, because Kojima and Konami are like siblings and they couldn't get along. And so now we are robbed of an amazing video game that will never see the light of day for multiple reasons. So we've got a new game coming up. There's multiple things in the work for Silent Hill. I am very pumped about this second film. Going back to 2006, because they're ignoring Revelations. They're only focusing on picking up where the first game, first movie, and they're going to go into Silent Hill 2 territory.
So it's kind of a requel.
Kind of a requel,
but it's an adaptation. So I guess you can't really slap requel on it. It's not so black and white there. But it's exciting. Sure. And I definitely think The Last of Us has helped change people's perspective on video game adaptations. Because I would tell you, like, yes, I did enjoy the original Silent Hill film. But as far as like other adaptations go, like honestly, and this is not even horror related, I honestly think, and this is such a weird opinion, and you're gonna laugh, the best video game adaptation is Detective Pikachu. It is the true. I mean, as far as an adaptation
of being like the source material,
right? Other than Silent Hill and all that, yeah. But like, I think in modern adaptation, right? Because you look at things like Assassin's Creed, Uncharted. A lot of these movies are just not. They're just not good. They can't capture the magic. Whereas I feel like the charm of Detective Pikachu
was captured.
It captured the magic of Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like it was cute.
Right.
It was fun. It was like what it was supposed to be. Right. So
anyway. And I think like Kat and I are doing an entire series on adaptations. We do it once a month. So far we've covered not Day of the Dead. Oh my God. House of the Dead.
House of the Dead, yeah.
So we covered House of the Dead and we've covered Doom. And it's interesting because like we're saving the big hitters for last. So we're not doing Resident Evil. We're not touching Resident Evil or Silent Hill until the end. And in March, of course, we'll be doing The Last of Us. But I don't think that like I've gotten the impression that she is not as impressed with the original Silent Hill as I am, the 2006 one, but I loved it.
Yeah.
And also, if you watched the 2006 Silent Hill film and you did not ship Rose and Sybil, get out of here. I'm not even like, we ain't even on the same plane of existence. Because like that was the end story I wanted. I know she's happily married. I don't care. Like if they're gonna be stuck, of course, you know, like it. I won't ruin like the end of the movie for anybody who hasn't seen that almost 20-year-old movie at this point. But I went and saw this in theaters, and the 2006 one, and I loved it.
I wish I saw it in theaters. I think I saw it like when it was just like out of theaters and like when it first gets on, like goes on cable, like HBO or something. I think that's like when I saw it.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters twice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I love Silent Hill.
Oh.
I really do. So I'm very pumped about this. I think what we want as gamers, regardless of the genre, is we want people like this. The people that take this, they know what this means, what this feels like for us, what this experience was. And the goal is to capture that love and excitement that we had when we played the game and translate that into a film experience. And I felt like they were able to do this with the first one from 2006. And I'm really confident that we're going to be able to do it for the next one, for Silent Hill, or Return to Silent Hill. I'm sorry.
And it's going to be a theatrical release, right?
It is going to be a theatrical release. Yep.
That is good that they have
as it should be.
It should be, right? But it's nice that they have faith in it to be a theatrical. Not that it means, you know, there are some bad movies that are theatrical, but
that's fair. Well, and the first one did really well. Like from a performance standpoint, the first one did really well, especially as a video game adaptation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Revelations did okay, but like I said, I think people were upset about the story changes, and I think people like the 3D thing they should just not do.
No. Yeah. Well, I was seeing a lot of tweets, and you know, we don't have to dive too much into it, but like with like 3D coming back, like I feel like movie studios were just starting to drop the gimmick. And I saw someone tweet, it was like, all right, thanks to James Cameron and Avatar.
Now we're back in 3D world.
Everyone's going to be 3D again.
Well, you know, the Titanic 25th anniversary was only available up here in 3D. Or down here in 3D.
Well, I'm seeing Scream in 3D, unfortunately.
I'm not doing anything in 3D that I don't have to. I was going to go see Titanic regardless. I will say, though, it's called Real D 3D. So it's the black glasses instead of that shitty red and blue.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they do the red and blue.
They don't, but that's how long it's been since I've seen a 3D movie because I hated them.
Oh, no, it's better than that. But like,
it's better than that. Well, now it just looks like depth.
Yeah.
Versus like in your face stuff. So
it's just more like you're looking in a window as opposed to
that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Which I do like that. So it's just like sometimes I just don't want to wear the glasses. You know, I'm like, and then for someone who has glasses, you gotta put glasses over glasses or better.
I just gave up. People were just blurry. I did the best I could in Titanic. I was like,
I guess you've seen it enough times. You know what's going on.
I know what's going to happen. I know, like, I was holding back the quoting of the lines. And, like, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I wish they could figure out a way where the 3D is optional. Like, where it's like, if you wear the glasses, it's fine. If you put the glasses on, it's 3D. Like,
but you don't have to do it.
You don't have to. Like, I wish, like, that, like, the technology can get to the point where that was, like, what happened, right? What they could do.
That would make me happy.
Yeah. Maybe one day. One day
we'll get there.
So speaking of, well, not 3D, back to video games. We have another video game coming out called Psycho Fear, and it is a Saw-inspired video game where you are trapped in some deadly contraption and you have to solve puzzles and figure out a way to get out of said trap. Is this something that you are excited to play or watch playthroughs of, or what do you think?
Yeah. So first of all, I love the Saw franchise, some of it. So, I mean, I think it's an interesting idea. I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't already done this, you know, just because that gimmick of like the puzzling for survival was kind of like big, you know, like you would think, but I'm kind of surprised
they took this Saw game at some point, but
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't play this. I don't do really, really well with pressure situations like that. Like anything, like you should see me when I have to do like QTEs. I'm like, oh, like full blown panic. So, but I would watch somebody play this. It looks good from the trailer. It looks like a AAA experience. Like I'm into that. Like the look of it, the idea behind it. You know, you've even got the jigsaw-y voice talking to them and all of that. So, I mean, I'm interested to see. I think is it an indie developer? I can't remember.
I think so.
I think it's an indie developer, which, you know, I'm always happy to support, you know, indie, especially in the horror world. But yeah, I mean, it looks interesting. I don't think I will play it, mostly because I don't think I would be very good at it. But I would watch somebody play it.
Yeah, the developer is Dark Panda, by the way. And so it's expected Q2 of 2024. So like spring release. So it'll be a little while. I think, so based on the article, you can add it to your wish list on Steam. So you get updates when it's released. I don't know if it's so obviously if it's Steam, it's going to be on PC. I don't know if it's going to be a console game.
I think it's highly likely that it will not be, but I won't.
If successful, I've seen a lot of PC games lately being ported over.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with one of my favorite games of 22, which was Inscription. That was a really cool game. Did I tell you about that one?
No, but I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah.
It got enough of a following, though, that it ended up being on console,
it went to PlayStation, I think Xbox, but it was definitely PlayStation, and then I think also it was on the Switch. But yeah, for those that don't know, it's like I'm not going to give away too much because it does some really cool stuff in like the second and third acts of the game. Yeah. But you pretty much start in a cabin playing against this mysterious, creepy opponent. This like kind of cool makeshift card game, and it's very like you build a deck, you play different rounds. It's like it's card battling, so it's very much like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, anything like that. But it's like woodland creatures fighting. And then you solve puzzles around this like creepy cabin, and then you unlock, and then you kind of like solve a mystery and figure things out as you're going on. And the world is it's so cool. It's a
unique game. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, really cool. So recommend that to others. Oh man, I should have saved that for my recommendations.
That's okay.
That was a good one. It would have been a good one. But yeah, I'm definitely probably going to play like Psycho Fear. I'm going to actually
hear. Yeah. Can't wait to hear about it then. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I've been dying to get back into like Twitch streaming. So like maybe I'll do that.
That would be fun. Yeah.
I used to do a little. I dabbled. I didn't do that well.
I dabbled.
I didn't have a following or anything, but some people did watch, and that was fun. You know, I like that because it's like a conversation with people, and it's a whole community on there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah. So then, were you taking the next one? No, it was me. Okay. I'm winging it here, obviously. My mic's falling down.
I'm here for you.
So we got some pictures released for A24 series Beef with Steven Yeun. It's Glenn from The Walking Dead. For those, so two people who let a road rage incident burrow into their minds and slowly consume their every thought and action. So it's a little less horror; it's a little more drama thriller. But you know, I love Steven Yeun. I think he's great. I agree. Between Walking Dead, no matter how you feel about the show, I think his performance as Glenn is amazing.
Ali Wong is the female counterpart, right? She's the one that. So. Is that right? I thought it was the comedian. Maybe I'm wrong.
Let me go back and double check because I think I definitely don't want to.
No, that's fine.
Oh, it is Ali Wong. Yeah.
Ah, good for me.
Yeah, so it's going to be kind of like a dark comedy. Thriller.
Yep.
Drama kind of. It's going to be on Netflix.
Yep.
So we'll have to see, and that'll get us a taste of an A24 series. Because I know you're a little on the fence about A24 doing Friday the 13th, so. Maybe we'll get a chance to see how A24 handles a TV show, and maybe we'll feel a little more comfortable.
Well, and you know, the synopsis reminds me, not that this was a comedy because it certainly was not, but did you ever see Unhinged with Gerard Butler?
Oh man, maybe.
It's a road rage situation. It's a mom and her son. She's running late. She's trying to take her son to school. This guy, isn't going fast enough, and she hits the horn, and it turns into this like wild chase. He follows her, takes her phone out of her car when she stops to get gas. He like tries to kill her son. Like it's like a whole, because there's things that happen in the beginning of the movie that show that he is completely snapped. And all he needed was one more push, you know. And even though this was such a simple thing, it was enough to set him off. But it's a very action thriller. It's got some crazy kill stuff in it. Like it's wild. But it reminds me of maybe a darker version of this. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I love a return to thrillers. I feel like it's such a subset of horror that it was, thrillers were huge, like 80s, 90s, like even early 2000s. Like, of course, I feel like it's kind of like it's gone more to TV if we're getting, thrillers. But like one of my favorite thrillers growing up. You ever see The Glass House? That's a good one with the two kids and the two kids and their parents die and then they get it like adopted. It's like Lily Lebowski. Oh my god, I'm like butchering her name. Yeah,
but no, that was a really good one.
It's a great one. Diane Lane. And then who played the husband?
What about that one that's like the house next? No, not the house next door. The house down the street. The house. What was it with Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah, it was like the house on the not house on the left. That's we know that movie. It was like the house down the street or something.
Something like that. That one was pretty good too.
Yeah, that was.
But very thrillery. It wasn't,
No, but I mean, thriller. I feel like does often, it is a subset of horror. I feel like
I agree. No, I totally agree.
Yeah,
I would think someone in a road rage situation that's willing to go to my son's school and try to kill him, that constitutes as horror for me. Like,
horrific for sure.
Horrific for sure.
Horrific.
Horrendous behavior.
You said behavior. Now I'm like, oh my god, Disturbing Behavior again. Also a really great thriller.
Oh yeah,
James Marsden and Katie Holmes. Oh man. Oh okay. Maybe we'll do an episode on 90s thrillers.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that is coming out. So Beef with Steven Yeun is coming out April 6th on Netflix.
Yeah.
So soon, actually, a couple months.
Yeah.
Not even. No, wait. It's February. I don't know what day it is.
It's the end. It's almost the end of February.
I know. Which means Scream soon. So that's how I meant it.
And then April is Evil Dead Rising. So I'm here for all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that one fares on the A24 front because, we have a turbulent relationship, A24 and I. It's really abusive on my end of things. A24 tries their best, and I just am so mean, and I don't care.
I'm like the counselor in the middle. Like, it's all going to be okay.
Accurate.
You're doing okay. Oh check out this project. It's okay.
That's so accurate. Oh, that's perfect. So another release that's coming is a film called The Pope's Exorcist, which is Russell Crowe. I know who they are separately, but I always want to say when it comes to Gerard Butler and Russell Crowe, sometimes I flip. And we were just talking about Gerard Butler, so I almost said Gerard Butler, but it's Russell Crowe. So
funny you say that. It actually was Russell Crowe.
It's Russell. I know, that's what I'm saying. It's Russell Crowe. It's not Gerard Butler in Unhinged.
In Unhinged, it's Russell Crowe.
Yeah, it's Russell Crowe. My apologies, Russell Crowe. So The Pope's Exorcist, portrayal of a real-life figure, Father Gabriel Amorth, a priest who acted as chief exorcist of the Vatican and who performed more than 100,000 exorcisms in his lifetime, wrote 2 memoirs. An Exorcist tells his story and An Exorcist More Stories, and detailed his experiences battling Satan and demons that had clutched people in their evil. So this comes out April 7th. We don't have it here. Is that a theater thing? No. Is it a show or a movie?
It is a movie.
Okay.
So actually, I wanted to highlight because the director for this directed Overlord.
That's right. So Overlord, which was a fantastic Nazi zombie movie. I loved it. So good and gross and scary and magnificent. And I loved Overlord.
Yeah. Oh, man. That movie is very underrated. I don't think it got enough buzz.
And I feel like, and it's not, I want to say this very loosely. It's not based on like anything super factual, but also there was a lot of rumors about the stuff that Hitler was meddling with as far as science and medical and human bodies. And so to me, this is based on a true story. And that's how I watched it. And that was why it was scary. Overlord, that is.
I mean, there is some stuff. I mean, especially not zombies, but there is stuff on record of scientists doing like really messed up stuff.
Yeah, not quite this, but definitely like the stuff with the twins,
stuff, and that's what I was thinking.
Really effed up stuff. Yeah. So I think this looks like. I mean, I think this is probably going to be pretty gritty then, because Overlord was very gritty and dark and dismal. Yeah,
it's giving me Exorcism of Emily Rose, because I know that was like based on a true story. But like, if it's the Overlord folks, if it's the same director, I feel like, I don't know. I know a lot of people some people didn't like Emily Rose. I kind of liked it. I dug it. Yeah, some people.
You wear tinfoil on your head if you don't like the Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's one of my favorite Exorcist movies.
Yeah. I think, you know what, I think a lot of people, well, you know what, I was a teen watching it, so I feel like a lot of like my social circle were expecting like The Exorcist, and that it wasn't that.
No.
So, but it's a very, because I feel like not a lot of people in my social circle were watching like crime procedurals, and it was a lot of that. And I think people were like, what is this?
mean, that's fair, but to me that was one of the things that made it the most unsettling, was these real life applications of like what could happen in this situation, and also this push and pull of the judicial system versus religion. Like there was a lot at play for this. And I don't know. That's like, so I did a top 5. I did a TikTok about my top 5 Exorcist movies, because I don't feel that The Exorcist is the best exorcism movie. I feel like there are movies that have surpassed it.
It's a classic.
I mean, sure. And I have a lot of love and respect for it. I love that movie. It's still very scary to me. However, there are things that have surpassed it. And The Exorcism of Emily Rose is one that I always put up higher. It's like one of my go-tos for exorcism movies.
I haven't watched it in so long.
It's so good as an adult. I rewatched it. So I saw it when it first came out, I'm pretty sure. And then I remember watching it again as an adult, and I had a completely different appreciation for it. Completely different. And I'm a huge fan of exorcism movies. It's my 3rd favorite subgenre in horror. Like I literally, ironically, who was I talking about this with? I literally was just, were we talking about this already? My subgenre favorites? No.
I mean, I know found footage.
Found footage. Yeah.
What's the second one?
Creature features, monster movies. Okay. And then it would be, I think I was talking to Addie about it. I don't think I was talking. I was thinking it was you, because we've been talking, off and on all day. But yeah, so possession films fall under my 3rd favorite subgenre of horror. I love possession films, but sometimes they are so generic.
They can be. Yeah.
They can be so generic. And so when I find ones that are like really unique, like The Exorcism of Emily Rose, The Seventh Day, The Rite with Anthony Hopkins, you find these, The Devil Inside, The Taking of Deborah Logan, like the list goes on. But like, so when you had shared about this one, I was like, oh, like I'm all about. I love exorcism movies, and exorcism stuff is scary to me. It just is.
It is really creepy, and it goes back to what we were saying, like it's a very that Judeo-Christian kind of mythology that we get
Correct,
here.
Right.
Yep. And that's the thing, is like we get so much of it that like it can feel very hit or miss, but it's very nice when you get a gem. And I'm hoping with someone like Russell Crowe, like this will be really good.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I would even like go as far to say like I might even check out one of these memoirs.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Maybe we conquer and divide.
Right.
And so, then I'll send you mine and you send me yours.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm definitely excited. So I know that's coming out April 7th, right? Yeah.
Yeah, April 7th.
Okay. So our last story is one that I'm very, very excited.
I don't even know what this is. I'm excited to hear you talk about it.
So it's very interesting that Bloody Disgusting was reported, because it's not like inherently horror.
Okay.
It has horror elements to it. So Kamen Rider is a tokusatsu genre show in Japan. So it is where Power Rangers comes from.
Right.
So the big 3 in Japan is you have Super Sentai, which was adapted into Power Rangers. Then you have Ultraman, and you have Kamen Rider. Okay. So these are kind of the big 3.
Okay.
And they are mostly like Saturday morning kid shows, typically.
Okay.
But back in the day, they went a little harder on certain things, like especially like in the 70s and 80s, the monster designs were genuinely creepy.
Okay.
So that's kind of like a little bit of a background. So and they're starting to get a little more exposure in the States. Like there's a company, Shout Factory. So Scream Factory puts out all the horror stuff. Shout Factory, they have a Toku subset, and they'll release a lot of this stuff on like DVD, Blu-ray for people to access. So the director for Shin Kamen Rider, so the Shin series, so there's been Shin Ultraman, Shin Godzilla, and now Shin Kamen Rider. And so the Shin series takes these properties, amps them up for like more of like an adult audience. And it makes them a little, so especially with Godzilla, makes them a little scarier. So that's kind of where they're going to go with Shin Kamen Rider. It's going to be a little more serious. It's going to be very like superhero fighty, but like they're going more into like these really gritty monster designs. They're really fun. It's a really fun kind of show. It's been around for a long time. I think the original Kamen. So this is based on the original series. Kamen Rider from like it was the 60s or the 70s. So it's going to be like that hero's costume, and they're going to kind of loosely adapt that storyline. But they're going to kind of put a little more of a mature spin on it. So I know we have our shout outs and our recommendations.
Yeah, so I am in the middle of rewatching Carnival Row because I watched it when it first came out. It's got Orlando Bloom, Cara Devine, whatever her last name is, and some other big folks, but they're the two main characters. And it is it's on Amazon Prime. It's a Prime show, so you can watch it if you have Amazon Prime. But the second and final season has come out this weekend. So I was like, oh, I want to like rewatch it before I watch the second season, final season, whatever. So I'm trying to finish that so I can get caught up and watch the new episodes. But I'm really surprised that more people don't talk about this show. If you're not familiar, it's essentially it takes place in this place called the Berg. And basically it's a post-war world where the Fae, these creatures called pucks, which are essentially, I guess they're like, oh my God, what are they called? Fawns, sort of. And there's werewolves, there's witches, there's monsters. It's very Lovecraftian in a lot of ways. But the story is, it kind of has this whole racist thing of, like the pucks and the Fae are treated like absolute garbage. They're not respected by the community. Nobody wants them there, blah, blah, blah. And Orlando Bloom's character plays a detective that is trying to stay a good person. He helps everybody. He's there's some secrets around him. I won't give too much away. And there's all of a sudden these people getting disemboweled and their livers are being taken. And it's this mystery. There's a lot of components to this story, a lot of characters, a lot of like miscellaneous things that eventually all connect in one go. But it essentially got news that it was not going to be something they wanted to continue to do. So they were able, we were just talking about this earlier, they were able to do a second season that picks up, but is going to wrap up the story. So my recommendation is if you have not seen Carnival Row and you're a horror fan, a lore fan, a fantasy fan, highly recommend this series. It's not a super long watch. I think the first season's like 8 episodes or something. It's really, really good. It's dark, it's gritty, it's gory, it's really good. And so I'm really excited to see what the second season has for us. So that's my recommendation. Go watch that on Prime.
Yeah, I need to. So my husband and I, we watched, I think, like the first episode or two. And it's not that we didn't like it. I think we just kind of, it was a slow beginning, but I think we also just kind of like other shows were on, and I think we just kind of ended up losing track. And
it's slow. It takes until about episode 3 or 4 for it to get really good, but then it's like it gets really good, especially if you're into things that have a lot of lore, which I am. I love creature lore, types of people lore. Like I'm all for it, and it's got a lot. It's really good. I liked it.
I think it's definitely one of those shows that maybe once it's all wrapped up, I think I'm going to just go and just do like a binge.
Yeah,
I think, especially if it's only going to be 2 seasons. Like,
it's only 2 seasons.
I could do that. Yeah,
so less than 20 episodes, I think, total.
Yeah, that's like nothing. Yeah. So I kind of did do a recommendation early in the episode where I talked about Inscription. So if any of y'all have not played that game, play it. It is amazing, especially if you, well, one, if you like horror, or two, if you were ever someone who played any of those card games growing up, like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it just is so. It just gives you such like a nostalgic kind of feel to it.
Oh yeah.
And even just computer game lovers in general. You know, I think there's a lot of just stuff in there. But I also did want to shout out a YouTube channel that I really enjoy, and I got to meet the guys from it, called the Horror Bandwagon. And they remind me so much of my husband and myself. So the two guys, they're engaged, and there's the horror loving husband introducing his fiance to horror movies, and that's
I love that.
That's their gimmick. And they're really sweet, really genuine people. I did an episode with them on the Horror Hour. So we got to, I totally forget. Maybe it was like our favorite kills in movies. I think that might have been the topic. You can go back and find it if you want to see that conversation. But yeah, they're very sweet. So I would recommend going to check their channel.
Yeah. And we'll have all of that stuff in the description for the episode. Where to find them.
Definitely. Yeah, they're on Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah, we'll put their stuff in the description for the episode.
But yeah. So those are my shout outs and recommendations. I cheated. I squeezed 2 in there.
That's okay. It's like I tell Tom, it's our show. We can do whatever we want.
We're making it up as we go.
Yeah, we posted the voting for the 4 found footage movies for people to pick between, and he was like, "Are we allowed to vote?" I was like, "We can do whatever we want. It's our show." Like,
yeah, I'm sure you got to vote. I mean, like,
yeah, for sure. So anyway,
the president gets to vote for themselves. I mean,
why not, right?
Vote wrong. Yeah, right.
Okay, well.
But yeah, so that's another episode of the Coffee Crypt. Thank you for checking us out, guys. I don't know what else you want to. I kind of forgot our shower.
How are we feeling about the coffee hour? You guys, let us know what you think of this series. We got a couple of really great messages after episode 1. Some really nice comments about people really liking the idea, but. If there's segment ideas you guys have, things you wish like we would talk more about or less about, I guess. Although you might as well not even comment about the Scream stuff because we're not going to listen. And but anything else, by all means, sound off. In the comments below. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of. And yeah, I think that's it for this episode of the Coffee Crypt. So you guys have a very productive Sunday. Good luck with your week coming up. And Steve and I will be back in 2 weeks with more horror talk and horror news.
See you guys then.
Yeah. See ya.